Hello, dreamers, and welcome back to PERLA'S Dreams. For those of you that are new, welcome. We love having you here. Just a quick reminder, guys, these are general readings, so only take whatever resonates, and please leave the rest. So, Cancer, we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna jump right into it. This month, right? The theme for this month or the next couple of weeks, um, is communication. Not just communications with others, even though that is playing a major part with you guys this month, but also learning that there's communication within yourself that you are being made aware of. So this breaks down very simple to this energy of, you know how you say you're going to do something and then you don't follow through. So you're constantly sending these mixed signals to yourself, to the universe. There's a lot of times where a lot of you are not following through with things that you're saying that you're going to do. And these are very simple things. We don't have to think about anything extravagant or anything huge or anything like that, right? This is very simple as like, I'm going to walk a mile a day, right? Or whatever it is, I'm going to take 5,000 steps a day, or I am going to take 5 minutes every morning and just sit in gratefulness, right? And then you fail to do that, right? And then you're wondering, or you're constantly asking, God, the universe, however it is that you connect, as why are things not following through? Like, why are things not manifesting? Why is it that it feels like I'm living the same year over and over and over again? There's no progression, there's no change. And the truth of the matter is, Cancer, and I know that you don't want to hear this. None of us ever want to hear this, right? It's you. You're not making the change. So, and how is it that you are expecting to see change in your life when you're not changing certain behaviors, certain patterns when it comes to communication? Now, as we're seeing this, there's also this kind of like story developing where you're going to start meeting those resistance, right? These aspects of yourself that you may have turned a blind eye to, that you may have tried to ignore, is going to start manifesting in your outer world, meaning you're going to start having a lot of communication issues with other people. There's going to be a lot more misunderstanding between what it is that you're trying to communicate to someone versus what it is that they are understanding, or what it is that they're receiving on their end. And again, when you're facing these spaces of communication issues with others, remember that it is being brought up to the surface, right? It's bringing brought up to light so that you can then re revisit the areas within yourself that you are miscommunicating with yourself, that you are miscommunicating with the universe. So again, all of these outer miscommunications that you're having with people is nothing more than a reflection of what it is that you're supposed to be paying attention to with yourself, right? So if you're constantly telling yourself like, I can't do this, or I will never do this, or I will never achieve this, or whatever it is, that is what you're feeding yourself, but it's also what you're telling the universe that is actually happening, right? What it is that you're actually expecting as an outcome. So there is this underlying theme for you guys to really learn, or start to practice your self-talk. Allow your thoughts to be intentional moving forward. There is a big space here where you're again, it's like your thoughts and your mind needs to be addressed. um and when I say this, it's like, if you say something like, oh, like, let's put it this way. I used to sometimes, when I used to have a headache or back pain or whatever, I used to be like, oh, I have back pain. And now one of the things that I switch around, and it's a very close dear friend of mine, I'll say my body is experiencing back pain. My body is experiencing this, right? Because it is an aspect of me, right? And it's not that I'm ignoring the pain that is there, but I'm also addressing where it is, so that this way I can speak to that aspect of myself and be able to remove the blockage, right? Sometimes our bodies do need more rest than others. Sometimes our bodies are a little bit more in pain or a little bit more tired or whatever it is. And when we address that there's an issue there, right? We pinpoint, okay, my body is experiencing this. Now we can go ahead and kind of like figure out, because like if you look at it, if we're saying like I am, right? We hate self-reflection in that way. We hate to admit to ourselves where it is that we're failing, right? But if we put it as my body, right? It almost quote unquote like you're tricking your brain that is something out. Like even though it's still connected to you, it's not you directly. So then therefore it makes it personally for me a little bit easier to address what is going on in that aspect of my life, what is going on in that aspect of my body, right? So with little tricks like this, I feel that a lot of you can start addressing a lot of these communication issues that you're having within yourself that are unfortunately being manifested with those around you. Is going to feel almost kind of like you're hitting like a you're hitting like a brick wall, a deadlock, whatever you want to call it, where there is a communication with somebody else that is not moving forward. It doesn't really matter how much you try to explain something to somebody. Is like this person uh, is choosing in their own way, whether consciously or unconsciously, not to listen, not to hear, not to listen to what you're saying. They're waiting for you to shut up so that then they can say what they have to say. So they're not really processing what you're saying. They're really not taking into account anything that you're saying or anything like that. And again, as frustrating as that is, spirit is saying like, hey my love, where is it that you're doing this to yourself? Where is it that you're being a little bit too stubborn and you're really not following through with what it is that I'm telling you, right? So there is this dynamic of these two things that are in an essence the same thing, but they're being experienced by you in completely different ways, right? It may be easier to address what is going on out here with someone else, right? Because again, this self accountability energy is something that a lot of you have been trying to run away from or have been kind of like hiding from. Like, I'm not going to address that until it really becomes an issue. Or maybe you haven't been called out on your BS for a while, and because of that, you have been avoiding that aspect, that space of yourself that really needs that accountability. And when I say that, it's like, I'm literally coming from the heart, guys. Never take it as I'm trying to attack you or anything like that. We all have these aspects, we all go through these periods in our life, myself included, right? Sometimes I need to be called out on certain BS, right? And when spirit is trying to communicate something with me and I am ignoring it, he will bring somebody outside of myself, right? That is going to come and point that out, whether directly or indirectly. And it's like, oh, wait, now I see. Okay, I need to step back and reevaluate this. And that's kind of like what is happening at this moment in time. It's like you have been wanting a lot of changes. You have been wanting a lot of um it's almost kind of like some of you feel like you have been stuck again, this reliving the same year over and over and over and over. It's like and this is very simple. Like, we're going to use this example of, like, when people say like they get like the winter blues, right? During the winter, they get depressive, or they're a little bit more low energy, where they don't want to go out and this and this and that. And I'm always like sitting here like, the winter's like the best time for me. Like, I want to be out, I want to be doing things. Like, I'm very much into, like, I'm in a different frequency when it comes to that. And I'm always like, okay, why is it? And it's like, some people become so dependent on what the norms are for something, right? So if you feel like you are a little bit less motivated during the winter, even if you have this spirit, like this all of a sudden type of energy that you actually want to do something or want to create, you kind of like hold yourself back again, because this is the way things are. And that's kind of like the thing that I'm picking up with your life, where a lot of you feel that you have been reliving the same year over and over. Like, every March the same type of things start to happen, whether that is your car breaking down or having financial issues. Every, like, June or July, like during the summer times, there is like this overspending, like, you know what I mean? Like, there is this rhythm, and there is this this structure to your year. Excuse me, guys. Oh, somebody really is getting upset. Like, I felt like somebody was like shoving something down my throat, like, shut up, like, we don't want to hear it. But it's almost kind of like this space of like, where is it in these spaces that you need to really readjust, right? Like, are you overspending during the summer? Yeah, I get it, it's during the summer, you want to do these things and all of these things, but then you're playing, like, September, October, November, you're playing catch up, right? And then the holidays come, and it's kind of like you get stuck in this, literally, like, in this wheel that you're just like, okay, why are things not changing? And again, spirit is saying things are not changing because you keep on doing the same behaviors, right? It's like, that is definitely the definition of insanity, doing the same thing but expecting a different outcome. And that is kind of what this time period for you guys is like, okay, can we really step out of this delulu space where you think that you're going to continue on doing the same thing and expect something different? Can we really brutally be honest with ourselves and be like, hey, these are the things that I need to address. Hey, these are the things that I need to put in order. And again, we all have these seasons in our life where we are face to face with the things that we need to change, with the things that we need to address if we want change, if we want to progress. Now, if you're completely comfortable with how things are during this time, if you're completely comfortable with reliving the same year over and over, then ignore this message completely and continue on living your life. But those of you that are seeking for answers, that are seeking for guidance, I am assuming that you are already in a space where you are ready to move forward. All right, let's go ahead and see. There is this energy here of somebody. There's this. I don't want to say necessarily like a past person, because I feel that this person is pretty much still in your space. They're pretty much still like lingering around. Some of you are wondering whether this is somebody that you should walk away from completely, or if you should give this person another chance. Now, when I say that very loosely, because again, I don't feel that a lot of you have made a distance between you and this person. I feel that you're in this space of indecisiveness when it comes to somebody romantically. I'm gonna say it flat out. I feel the way that this person is showing up is somebody that is very inconsistent. So what they are saying is not what they're doing, and vice versa. So when you have somebody that cannot be consistent with their words, and again, we're gonna go back to that communication aspect of yourself. You haven't been consistent yourself with yourself. So what you are attracting at this moment, or what you are attracted to, let's put it this way, is the same energy, because you're recognizing that energy in someone else. And sometimes when we recognize, whether whether it's unconscious or consciously, when we recognize this energy in someone else, we get drawn to it, because sometimes it is a validation that what we're doing, it's okay. And again, a lot of these things do happen unconsciously. A lot of the times we are unaware that this is what we're doing. So again, this self-reflection aspect of yourself really needs to happen in the aspects of the communication that you have with yourself. And I feel that once that is addressed, then you will be able to make a solid decision when it comes to this person, even though I feel that a lot of you already know that this is not, again, unless you want to repeat a certain pattern, this is not a relationship that should continue. And that is just solely based on the energies that I'm seeing, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out some tarot just to see if there's anything else that wants to come through. Um, for some of you, there's definitely this aspect of like, um, even the little changes that spirit is asking you to make, you feel like they are too much. There is here a lack of this pretty much gives me that energy of, when somebody's been like on a diet or like going to the gym for like a week and they magically only lost like, they haven't lost like 10 or 15 pounds that they thought they were going to lose in a week, but they lost like a pound and a half, and they feel that that pound and a half is not enough for the work that they're putting in, so then they just decide to give up. So a year goes by and they restart again, and they're exactly at the same spot, right? Because they gave up. That is kind of like the energy that I'm picking up here. A lot of you look at the things the spirit is asking of you as too much, like sacrificing too much or giving too much, and the outcome or the benefit of it is not enough in your mind, right? So if you are asked to, like, let's say, like, stop drinking for a certain amount of time or stop smoking or whatever it is, it's like, well, if I stop doing this, I'm not going to have these people around, or I'm not going to be able to hang out with these people. Like, that's too much of a sacrifice. But in reality, spirit is trying to maybe move you forward to a different type of group of people to hang out with, right? So some of you are asking yourself, like, why you're not progressing, why you are not moving forward. But in reality, a lot of the people that you are still connecting to are in the same space. So there's this saying in Spanish that they used to say to us, especially girls growing up, it's like, dime con quien anda y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. And unfortunately, that is not, it's not always a true statement, but when it comes to energy, we do tend to connect with those that are in the same frequency. And then sometimes when we realize we want to move forward in life, or we want to enter a different frequency, or we want to connect with different things, then we start to intentionally choose who it is that we're connecting with, because we want to be part of that, right? We want to be as successful. We want to be in that frequency of success. We want to be in that frequency of friendship, or whatever it is. So, a very prime example, I have a very amazing group of friends. And everybody is pretty much an entrepreneur, right? Most of them, anyways. But every time we get together, everybody's always talking about like the ideas and the things that they're bringing forth, right? The creative aspects of things, and that is something that for a very long time I yearned for, right? Like even back in my late teens, early 20s, where I would hang around with certain people and it was gossip and this and this and that. And when I would point out, like, hey, this is like not really for me, right? Like, I really want to start talking about, like, the goals and the plans and the things. Like, people would look at me like I was crazy. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's like just a dream, right? Like, that's not something that we're actually gonna waste time on. And it took a very long time, in the sense of, like, even though I separated myself from those groups, I didn't know how to connect to people that had those dreams and those desires, right? And what I had to do is I had to go internally and say, okay, what aspects of myself am I still holding myself back? How am I not communicating with myself that I'm not connecting to these types of people, right? And then that had to be addressed in a self-talk type of mode, even though I had noticed and addressed an aspect like, okay, I do not want to be in these types of settings, right? Because this is no longer where my spirit lives. Like, there's nothing here. This has always felt uncomfortable, right? But these individuals in this group are not ready. They're not in the space that I feel that I am in, right? So I had to go within myself and say, okay, where is it within myself that I am still having some characteristics of this group, right? Where is it within myself that I am still talking to myself in a negative aspect? Where is it that I'm still setting limitations? And when I was able to address that and redirect those patterns within myself, I was able to connect with this beautiful group of friends that I have now, that we're constantly, like, checking in with ourselves, constantly, like, communicating about our plans and our goals, and are collaborating in many different aspects. And that's kind of like the things that you need to address during this time. A lot of the times, the rewards or the benefits of something do not appear immediately. A lot of these things takes time, right? Because again, think of it as an energy exchange. If you want this type of lifestyle, whatever that is for you, what is it going to take? How much are you willing to work towards that lifestyle? And this doesn't have to be like, sometimes we think about giving up on certain things as a sacrifice, when in reality is liberation, right? if you look at it, some people, like, especially when they use alcohol, just because it's something that is, you know, openly talked about, right? And a lot of people can talk about it openly. And it's like, you know, there are alcoholics that literally lose their family, they lose their job, their businesses, everything, because they were asked to let go of alcohol, and they felt like leaving alcohol, letting go of it, was too much of a huge sacrifice. But the moment that they let it go, the moment that they release it, the moment that they work through their 12 step or whatever it is, then their entire life changed for the better. Yeah, the temptation of the alcohol is still there, but the benefit of what their life has become at this moment in time outweighs that temptation. And that's kind of like what you're being asked to kind of like address during this time. Hold on, guys. I could have sworn that a card fell, but I guess not. Um, and any noise that you hear, seriously, I tried sitting in a chair for the last 3 videos, and it was very, very, very uncomfortable for me. So like that squeaky sound sometimes is the ball pressing against like the frame that is behind me. And I apologize if it does bother you, but I need movement like in my hips and in my body as I'm doing readings, and that's where the noise is coming from. I also have dogs and kids, so just kind of be aware of that. All right. So again, there is this, yes, during this process of walking away from certain things, walking away from people, and really addressing these aspects of yourself, there is going to be this initial feeling like you're being left out in the cold, feeling like you are isolated. And just think about think of that space, right, as a recalibration, as a recharging type of energy, right? When you're charging something, you're not personally, hopefully not actively using it, right? Because you let it recharge a lot faster, right? So like if you're charging your phone is charging over there by itself, right? It's just, that's what it's doing. It's recharging so that when you start using it again, it is a full capacity. Now, what tends to happen when you're charging your phone and you're using it, it can start to overheat. The charger starts to overheat. The phone doesn't charge as fast. So again, this trying to manage what you're walking away from and what you're trying to walk into, and trying to hold on to both of them, is really going to drag your process during this time. So kind of like think about it that way, that space where you feel completely alone, or that space where you feel a little bit isolated, take it as a recharging station for the life that you're walking into. All right. So let's go ahead and let's pull out some cards when it comes to this energy of this person that keeps coming up for you guys. Again, here we have the Temperance in the reverse, the Wheel of the Year, and then the Ten of Wands in the upright position. There's definitely this sense of like, okay, you get to make a choice. Obviously, we always have a choice, and not making a choice is a choice in itself, right? And there is a sense of like needing to, again, and I feel that a lot of you knew this already, you're needing to walk away from this. You're needing to staying in this. If you do decide to stay in this, there is this aspect of your shadow side or shadow work that is being ignored. And again, for everybody, it's going to be different. Sometimes we're ready to face certain things. Sometimes we are not. Sometimes we are afraid to say certain things because we don't want it. We don't want a false foundation to crumble, right? And that is kind of like what is happening here. Maybe you have spent a lot of time focusing or seeing someone's potential side, right? What someone is capable of. And I'm going to tell you something, my love. We are all capable of way more than what we actually do. But it's not until we realize what we are actually doing and how we are hindering that potential that we actually start to make the changes. So unfortunately, as much potential as you see in someone doesn't necessarily make them see that potential in themselves. It doesn't necessarily make them see the fact that they themselves are not living to their highest potential. So with that, you may do whatever you want, my love, but you know, there is a storyline here of like, what is it What is it for you when it comes to sacrifice? What is it for you when it comes to the life? Do you want to keep on repeating the same year over and over, or do you want to start moving forward? You can't keep having the same regrets today that you had 20 years ago, because if you still do, then that means that you're still doing the same exact thing. And those regrets should be looked at as lessons. Broken open. I didn't even get to really shuffle, guys. Broken open is your card. Number 28. We are using the Oracle of the Seven Energies for these readings. All right. The key concept are the gift of grief, being shattered as a result of loss, and the potential inherent in failure. There is a situation in a life when you see a value of loss, grief, and broken heart. Yet it is not the pain or loss itself that must be the focus of your attention here. No, not even the story of what happened. The details surrounding what has brought you to your knees is as important as a result from the experience. Can you see that this situation has broken you wide open, enabling you to have an even greater capacity for love, compassion, empathy, and understanding? You cannot be the same person as before. The only way forward is to move through it without resistance or manipulation, without attempting to bargain with unseen forces, because none of your usual fallbacks can put you back together again. Again, the struggle with what you think you're going to lose, the struggle with how much you think you're going to sacrifice is really your biggest challenge during this time. And you need to really come face to face with it if you want to progress during this stage. Well, guys, and that is all that I have for you at this moment in time. As always, and thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Mwah. Bye-bye.